This video, I'm going to be talking about Mercury retrograde. And you've probably heard that before from other people saying, oh, Mercury's going retrograde. Oh, you better do this and you better do that. And what that means, I'm going to tell you what Mercury retrograde means. The planet Mercury is appearing to go backwards because of all the moving forward planets. So it just lasts for 3 weeks. So our Mercury retrograde goes in March 15th, and then it goes direct on April 7th. And what happens and what the influence that Mercury retrograde has on us is that all electronical devices tend to go haywire. All communications tend to get delayed, or they just tend to go backwards, or just things just don't seem to be perceived accurately. We tend to go through a lot of stuff that comes up. It's like even trying to say these words, because Mercury's retrograde, we stutter and we can't get the words out, because Mercury is a planet of communication. And when it's going retrograde, it just has that little effect on us. So you got to remember that. And when you are aware of these things, you can offset this influence, because you can have a meltdown. A lot of people have meltdowns trying to get the cash register working at the store, or flight delays there's delays on flight and traveling, and your phone is just not working right. Everything just seems to not be going the way it normally works. And you just have a meltdown because it's just, or maybe not a meltdown, but sometimes it's just caused a lot of frustrations. And especially now, because the sun is in Aries. And so the sun sign Aries is very fiery. It's a very intense Mars. It's ruled by Mars, the planet Mars, which intensifies energies. And also Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. And so what it does is it puts a lot of fire into the mix with Mercury retrograde. So you might be feeling even a little bit more intense during this period. But at the same time, what it's telling you is that you need to slow down. You need to take a break. During Mercury retrograde, you need to slow down. Now, when I say slow down, it doesn't mean that you're not to work and not to do anything, not to work out, not to get out there and follow your dreams. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to breathe. Take your time. Don't rush. Aries is a rushing sign. They are very quick to get into things, and they want to just dive right into it. And when we have that influence with Mercury retrograde, with something going haywire, it could really upset us and bring on a lot of frustrations and bring on childish behaviors. Aries is about the ego. They're very confident, but there's a lot of ego energy. So you have to just remember, I don't want to offend anybody if they're Aries. I'm just talking about the influence with Mercury retrograde when we have the negative effects with Mercury retrograde and the sun is in Aries. That's all. This is not a doomsday prediction by any means. This is more of a forecast for the next 3 weeks, so you can be aware of what is happening and what's going on with the Mercury retrograde and what to do. And one of the things, like I said, to do is to take the time out to just reflect, do some spiritual work, do some yoga, breathe. Make sure you're breathing, because we forget to breathe. We tend to do things in our life and we hold our breath, and that creates a lot of stress in the body. And it's important to just chill out and just breathe, and just if you're getting emotional and upset about a situation that's come up and it's triggering you, take a time out for a few minutes and just listen to your breath and breathe. And then ask yourself, what am I really upset about? What's happening here? And triggers come up, okay? And I always say journal the things that come up so you can work through them, because through the negativity you have a reason to release them, so you can move on and you can be free, and that's why we get triggers, to release them. So it's important to be aware of this transit that's happening, so you can be aware when it happens. And then if you see somebody else losing it from a Mercury retrograde, you can tell them what I say, or send them this video, because it's what they probably need to hear. So you got to just not lose it. And feel your emotions, feel what's happening. You can't tell yourself, don't feel this way, because when you tell yourself you can't feel, don't feel, what happens? You're actually going to do it more, and you're not going to work through it, and it's just going to build up on the ego of it. You know, and the whole, when I say ego, we all have, like I said before, we all have an ego, and I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just telling you more just to just get into your center and just know that it's all going to pass, that this too shall pass, and that it's temporary, and whatever's happening, it's a reason for something to be brought up to you so you can be working on, okay? And like I said, one of the things to do is to do some spiritual work. Also, maybe going within, finding that inner place inside of yourself and meditating. That's when I say spiritual work, that's what I mean. Also, there's so many different ways, but I would highly recommend that you become creative. As I said in my other video, start something that is creative for yourself. Now, when I say creative, I'm not saying to start a new blog post or start blogging and start getting onto the computer and start writing and start, like, no, I'm talking about doing things manually. I'm talking about getting a pencil and paper and writing things down. And don't buy any new electronics during this time. I always advise my clients, not a good time right now because of Mercury retrograde. Chances are that they may go a little haywire, and they may just go, well, you may have some issues with them. And I've had that happen because I bought a phone and that happened to me. And did I listen? No, but I took it back like 3 times, and that's what happens. But it's okay because it's all good. You just got to remember that, and don't, like, even if you have to buy something that's electronic or work on a device that's, you know, working on devices, just remember to just go with the flow and just say, well, it's Mercury retrograde. That's the best way to release it. It's Mercury retrograde time, and that's it. And anybody that's next to you or will see you and will ask you, well, what does that mean? And then you say, well, this is what it means. And you know, now you know, and you can Google more information about that. But it's, you know, don't get into it. My advice, don't get into it. And also communication. If you're having issues with communicating with someone in a relationship, it's Mercury retrograde. A lot of times we perceive things that are wrong and not accurate. So you got to just give the other person a little bit of a break and a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because chances are more likely that it's Mercury retrograde. And so don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate the support. I wish you all the best. Peace and blessings. Namaste.